Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw. Oh, how they cease to amaze me sometimes, I'll tell you what. And, I thought about today before watching the show. I said, is Raw going to suck tonight? Well, 9 times out of 10, yes. But this was a very strange and odd show I saw tonight. And, I think to myself, I went from being there Saturday at All In to, Monday Night Raw tonight, and I just sit to myself like, wow, I'm glad I went to that show on Saturday. I am just glad I went. I'm really glad I did. So, like I said, I had a really great time being there. And if you don't believe I was there, just put this up for a minute just to prove to you. Maybe not the right footage, but let's see if I can come up with something better. Yeah, screw the Snapchat thing. I was there, but like I said, I go from being there from All In, having a fun, great time, watching that entire show. Yeah, it had its problems here and there, but I still had a fun night overall, and I'm glad I went to All In. And you can check out my review right now to that show too, because I did have to go back and watch it just to see how it played out on TV after being there live and how awesome that crowd was. I go to Monday Night Raw tonight, and what do I get? A lot of garbage going on. What was this, Columbus, Ohio tonight? Oh God, funny how crowds change in a span of 48 hours. And yes, this is the Labor Day edition of Raw, and I'm sure people are going to say, well, maybe they just took off so they can put anything on. But let's kick off this show here from Columbus, Ohio. Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler came out as they pretty much raised their arms together, as they, all three of them came out together as a pact, I guess they're calling it. And Strowman saying, that's what I call justice. After they played a video package last week, he mocked the Shield. And Roman, cashing his money in the bank not Roman, but Strowman cashing his money in the bank last week to get the Universal title at Hell in a Cell. And that, if it wasn't for the Shield, that, Roman wouldn't still be the champion right now. But he says he didn't care what the fans think of him, and that this is my yard. So, that already tells you that he pretty much full course heel Strowman. So they really turned the biggest thing that was a face on here and turned him, and that's why. As he says, you look at all three of us, he said, you're looking at the new kings of the jungle out here, and they're going to feast on their bloody carcasses and stuff. And that the Shield, that they're going to end the Shield, they said. They said they may have started, but they will end the Shield here. But next thing you know, the Shield came out, actually went through the crowd that actually had all their Shield gear on, all black. But next thing you know, Baron Corbin starts sending out half the roster in, and the Shield start beating half of them up, and then more of them come out. I'm seeing Finn and Ascension, and the Shield take them out then until the Shield surrounded the ring, got in the ring mostly, and then, like I said, the entire roster comes out, and everyone's brawling with each other as, like it was like the third wave, I believe, they sent out, because the Shield took out the first 2 waves of people, and since all 3 of them out, they start going at Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre. It's a big brawl then. The crowd starts chanting, let them fight, as they actually get away from each other, but the Shield start chasing them backstage, then go to commercial. But, I guess Strowman and them have some type of faction going on right now, as I guess it's the Pact or something, but they're going to make the Shield look like faces out here, so that's what they're going to go with. Strowman has his own team now, so that's really where we're going to this. And Strowman, Ziggler, McIntyre, we already know it's Ziggler and McIntyre full force heels, but Strowman, they made him a full force heel as possible. And yes, the Shield, they are possible, but that's the only way they're going to get Roman cheered, is having a Shield. That's the best they're going to do. And then next thing you know, they go to the back, and you got all these cops putting the Shield in handcuffs in the back of a police car, and Then you gotta have the roster arguing with each other. Then so like, what did the Shield get arrested for? I'm like, they got arrested for what? For nothing? And we'll get on to this whole get Roman over as much as possible later on. But let's get to one of the worst things of tonight. Probably the worst thing I was gonna count on. Yes, the Riot Squad were out there, but then next thing you know, JoJo has to introduce the Bellas making their return and plug Total Divas and oh god, I'm surprised people didn't boo them out of the building like they've been doing for the past few weeks now. But Columbus actually cheered for them. Listen, this match just was not good, but Brie Bella, by God, I just could not take this match seriously. I'm surprised it went on long, but the worst thing you could see out of this match, and by God, this is a botchamania material, was Brie Bella doing the first suicide dive, and probably one of the worst ones I would have ever seen was she runs towards the rope, stops, and she just falls. I'm like, she didn't even get hit by Logan. It's almost like she was waiting for Sarah Logan to hit her, and this was just so miscued and so bad. I said, what is with this? This is a horrible suicide dive. And I'm like, yeah, it was a miscue, I guess, but I guess she expected Sarah Logan to hit her and it didn't work. But then the second one, she does another one at the end. The second one looks worse. She tries to go at Logan and Riot going outside the ring, and by God, she didn't even hit them. She just hit the floor. That's all she did was land on her head. And yeah, Nikki Bella won with the rack attack or whatever, but by God, this was horrible. And isn't, I sit there and wonder, what show are the Bellas on? You already got Brie Bella on 2 shows right now, and she's supposed to tag with tag with Daniel Bryan against Miz and Maurice. After what I saw tonight, I said none of these two should be in the ring. Brie did the worst out here. Just those suicide dives, just, I don't know, maybe some are going to say, yeah, they've been out of the ring in over 3 years, but then again, I tell myself, who wanted to see them in the ring to begin with? Who wanted to see them come back? Who wanted to see any of this? I just sit there and say that, like, why was this match happening? Why? I just did that. Those suicide dives, by God, I just looked at it and laughed, but those were just horrible to look at. I thought the first one was just really bad, just how she stopped and wasn't even hit and just tried to fall on the ground for no reason. But the second one, she just ran so bad and didn't even hit them. And Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan got to sell this as good as possible. But just looking at that several times now, that was horrible. Okay. Nobody doesn't want to see any of these two back in the ring in general. It's like you're just setting the division 10 years back. And, I'm going to get to the Bella Twins later on. And, I know they already talked about them tag with Ronda Rousey against the Riot Squad. Why do we got to see this again in Australia? Why does anyone need to see this match? Why does anyone need to see the Bellas in general? I'm serious. I'm really serious, yo. Like, why do we need to see this shit? That was bad. Those suicide dives were bad. They're lucky they even got cheered out here tonight. This was probably some other crowd. They probably got booed out the building like they did in Brooklyn and Toronto last week. Because they were booed, okay? So, I know this is just trying to promote that whole Evolution thing, which I heard ticket sales aren't going well for that, by the way. I know somebody told me when I was at the All In, and they are going to that thing. But I just look into this show, and I said, this may not turn out well. Okay, it probably won't. But this was horrible. This whole tag match was very bad. I'm glad I walked out of the room and went to the bathroom for probably about 5 minutes and didn't have to watch this because I didn't think it was going to go on that long. But I caught those suicide dives, and that crap was horrible. Okay? That's probably one of the worst things I saw throughout the entire night. But moving on. Oh, let me also point out that Renee Young's back on commentary, replacing the coach. Listen, anybody's better than the coach. Renee, like I said before, I don't think she was horrible, but then again, it's like you barely hear her throughout half the night unless she just kind of reacts, almost like in a video game, saying, oh my God, look what happened. So, it wasn't bad, but anything's a step above coach, okay? Anything is. Next, Baron Corbin, I guess we're talking to Stephanie, talking about, Shield been taken into custody, and next thing you know, Finn Balor comes up saying, I want a match again tonight. No tricks, no games, just 2 men. And Corbin said this will be the main event. And, I sat there and laughed like, this is the main event of Raw. Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor for, I don't even know how many times at this point. which this feud has been dead already. I thought it was over at SummerSlam, but we got to see a match again last week. And then when I said the main event, just strange and bad. Next thing, here's another strange one we're going with, and I'm not sure if this is going to be good or bad. You got Caruso, Charlie Caruso arguing, but talking to Bobby Roode and Chad Gable in the back, which I guess they're a tag team now. And Roode says he cares over the spotlight, but now we're a team now. And Gable said tag team wrestling is what he does best. And they came out to Roode's entrance, which the Ascension were already in the ring, and said that Bobby Roode couldn't make it in the singles division. And Chad Gable is he said? A sawed-off duck butt. I don't know what that is, but a sawed-off duck butt. So, actually, I'm surprised this match actually went nearly 5 minutes, number one, but I'm not sure about Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Are they a team because they had nothing else for these guys? Bobby Roode is dead in the water, okay? Chad Gable has potential, but they don't do nothing with him unless one's going to turn on the other and they turn Roode heel and maybe this will go somewhere, but I just sat there as like they had nothing for these two, so they turned them into a tag team. The Ascension, they just been dead in the water. I'm actually surprised they actually let them have some promo time out there and tried to make them like a credible threat, but I'm not really sure. This was strange to me with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable being a team, but I really believe since they had nothing for them, let's make them into a team. Elias was out there talking about insane women beating him up last week, and he didn't like how women hit men and how Trish beat her, hit him last week, and then talked about the Buckeyes and the River Michigan Wolverines, and talked about Columbus until Alexa Bliss, who got a big pop because she's from here, with Mickie James and Alicia Fox, talked about she graduated high school in this venue, and that she led Ohio chant and said that she talked about this dump of her own hometown and talked bad about Ohio, and people booed and wanted to hear Elias sing his song. Elias couldn't even keep his eyes off her and says, I'm going to sing the song, until Ronda Rousey came out with Natalya then, as it was going to be Natalya versus Bliss, and this didn't go out long, as Mickie James and Fox tried to keep going at Natalya's arm, and Bliss did a DDT and didn't hit an arm bar. I was actually surprised to see Natalya tap out. But then they try to, and here's the crazy thing, they try to jump Ronda Rousey right after. Bliss tries to go in. Rousey just, starts punching her and knocks her out. Starts flipping Bliss around, not flipping Bliss, but flipping Fox like a rag doll around the whole place then. And then, Bliss tries to come back and chop block her in the leg, but Rousey fights off again. So, even if Mickie James got in the ring, how am I supposed to expect all three of them to be a credible threat if Rousey's just throwing them around and beating the crap out of them like crazy? Then again, why is anybody taking Bliss as a threat anyway after what happened at SummerSlam to Rousey? Okay, why? It's like she tried to get the better of her, but Rousey got the better of her in the end. So it's like, well, how you expect me to believe she's going to beat Rousey? Then again, the match was never believable at SummerSlam, so it's not even believable now, okay? What else happened on this show that was strange? They keep saying the Shield was arrested tonight and booked by a judge, but I liked how somebody said, I read on Twitter, what courtroom is open on Columbus Day not Columbus Day, but what courtroom is open on Labor Day at 10 o'clock at nighttime? Someone tell me that. I really want to know. What courtroom is open at this time of night? But they got charged for disorderly conduct? I don't know. And then Corbin, he's talking about he's got to take care of everything tonight, and, Strowman and them step in, and Ziggler wanted, a tag title shot with McIntyre, but it was already booked with the Revival, and unless something happens to the Revival, and it says, okay, we'll be back. And then Strowman said, I want some competition. And then next thing you know, the Revival's being interviewed, and the Revival get beat up by McIntyre and Ziggler. So it pretty much turns out to be the B team versus McIntyre and Ziggler for the tag team titles. And this match really didn't go out long. I don't know if they took the titles off the B team because they're not over, which this team wasn't over, but I feel bad for the Revival because they just got screwed right here and just kind of got overlooked because they got to push McIntyre and Ziggler, and they're the champions now. which is not a bad idea in general, but I think they're only the tag team champions, so I don't know. So the Shield will probably win it from them. Seth and Dean will probably have to go after the tag titles now, since they are now the tag champions. Which, like I said, it's not a bad move because at least it gives the division some type of legitimacy, because this tag team division was going nowhere, and with the B team as tag team champions, it wasn't going to go anywhere. But what is the Revival face now? Is the Revival face? Seriously, because they take them out and you just kind of screw them over, so I don't know where that's going. And here's another strange thing we got throughout the night. The Authors of Pain come out with Rockstar Spud, or Drake Maverick. I'm just used to calling him Rockstar Spud. But Spud said he is their new manager and still the 205 Live general manager. Listen, the Revival, not the Revival, but okay, the Authors of Pain, they beat some jobbers. Listen, they needed a manager regardless, okay? They really did. Seriously, because you took Paul Ellering away from them. They can't talk on the mic really well. After the last promos I saw them speak, they can't talk. The stuff they were doing with Titus Brand was horrible, so this is odd, but Rockstar Spud can talk. If you haven't seen any of his work in TNA, the guy can cut some great face promos. I can give you that. He really is great on the microphone, but when I saw him come out in the Authors of Pain gear, I called all three of them a knockoff Shield at one point. So it's like, okay, you took Paul Ellering away from them, which that just, I don't know, still ridiculous, but I somewhat understand why. Maybe Paul Ellering didn't want to do the travel schedule like I said before, but these two guys needed a manager, okay? They really needed a manager. I don't know how well this will work with Rockstar Spud, but I'm going to give it a chance and see where this goes. But this is strange that at least they found something else to do with him. But, he's still the 205 Live general manager, but now they have him as the manager for Authors of Pain. And, he says he's going to help them, become tag team champions. Even though the crowd looked like they didn't react once they saw Spud talk out there. I'm probably sure people didn't even really know who he was. I don't think people really did know who he was out there. And I like Rockstar Spud, but I don't think people really did not know who he was. They just didn't. Okay? They just didn't. So we'll see where this goes. But they really did need a manager, though. I just don't know where this is gonna play out to be. I just called him a knockoff Shield once he was wearing the Authors of Pain gear. I just really thought that in my head. They even went to Natalya and Rousey, and they were sick of this game, and Natalya said she needed some time to herself. Next thing you know, the Bellas come in, and they're talking to Rousey. She's the best women's champion, and they inspired her to come back, and they offered to be some training partners, and I don't care what else they even said, because I know this is probably going to lead to some stupid crap at Evolution, which I really am starting to believe now. It's going to be one of them versus Rousey for the title, but they're going to turn on her soon, so I just why? Next was probably the best, mostly the best thing out of this night. Shawn Michaels comes out. He pretty much got a good reaction as people chanting HBK, as he, plugged his t-shirt and the WWE Network and the Super Show in Australia, and talked about the Undertaker and Triple H match, and, he's going to side with Triple H because it's his best friend, he's known for 20 years, and, he would have understood if it was for the streak and everything, but, yes, he agreed with Austin that Triple H was going to win, but, he said agree with Austin that Triple H is going to win, that, Triple H is the cerebral assassin, but he says Triple H has more left in the tank than the Undertaker does. Next thing you know, the gong sounds, and the Undertaker actually shows up as a surprise, so the dead man was here in great shape, though I will say that, too. The Undertaker was here. He pretty much says this has become personal, and he says you two have been friends for over 20 years, but you both, he says, you giving me your best for those 20 years, and I put both of you down. And I took part of your souls, but your egos will not accept what's going down, okay? They just won't accept it. And that, he took something from Shawn Michaels that was most important to him, his career. And some people saying the dead man was heel right here. I don't say he was cutting a heel promo going at HBK, but it is true what he was saying. No, it was true. And then Triple H says, not Triple H, but Shawn Michaels going, he's saying that you think this is all about. And he says, this is about respect. 10 minutes, call back. Alright, but, alright, sorry about that, but, you know, he says this is about respect, and he says, I stayed retired. He said he was a man of his word. It's been nearly a decade, and people have been saying, when are you going to come back, huh? But he said he was committed to what he was going to do. He's not going to go back on his word. He was a man of his word, and he said he did it respect for the system, as people chanted one more time. As Undertaker kept saying respect, respect. And he says, you know, I turned down millions of dollars for one more match. And he says, you know, every year they want me to come back, but I'm going to stay retired. I did our respect for you. What Undertaker pretty much wants to say, is it respect or is it fear? And because excuse me, because he said if you chose to go out retirement, there's only one person, you know, tried to come for it. You know, come from me. And Undertaker pretty much told Shawn Michaels, say, if you even came back, I'm just going to put you down all over again. And he says, you know what, and you know, in Australia, I'm going to put your buddy Triple H down again. So after that, the gong played as Shawn just looked in the ring. So Undertaker pretty much punked out Shawn Michaels here. But the promos were very good, alright? It was. Like, HBK just wanted to stay out in retirement. Now people are going to say, well, is this going to lead to some match at WrestleMania with Undertaker and HBK? Will Shawn Michaels come out of retirement? Hell, will Shawn Michaels probably screw the Undertaker at Australia if that even comes down to that, building up this match in the Mania? I don't know, but it was a great promo. Shawn Michaels pretty much said, like, I promise to stay retired. I'm going to stay retired, but the dead man messing with his head, saying that you're just too scared to come out of retirement. It's not about respect. You just fear coming back, because he knows he'll come after Undertaker. But Undertaker said, I put both of you down before, and I'll put you down again, because your egos won't let this go, and you keep trying to come after me. So the dead man pretty much getting the best out of both of them. So probably the best segment of the entire night was with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, pretty much. And, you know, I've said it before, like last week, they are really building this whole Australian show up, okay? Like this was WrestleMania itself. They are really trying to do their best to build this up as big as possible, because, you know, it's funny. I'm not gonna wake up at 3, 4 in the morning to watch this pay-per-view in general. Won't catch it till later in the day anyways, but they are really building this up like this is a pay-per-view on a Sunday or something. Even though this is just gonna be, you gotta wake up early in the morning to see this. You think this match would be a WrestleMania they be building up, but they are taking a lot to build in this Undertaker and Triple H match. Come on, did you think we would even see the Undertaker show up on this show tonight to even cut a promo and have Shawn Michaels involved in this? Hell no, but they are taking out all the stops to build up the dead man and Triple H. They really are. So we'll see what this turns into, since they said Triple H will be here next week, and hey, Mick Foley will be here next week. Bang bang. So I'm sure he'll promote this match too. We'll see where that goes. Another random match. Ember Moon for some reason is tagging with Dana Brooke to go against Sasha and Bayley. Sasha and Bayley won. I think Dana Brooke did that handspring thing, and Sasha get the roll up, and then next thing you know, Titus Brand is arguing. She says she had enough of both of them, and she said she was done. So did she just leave Titus Brand? Because, well, she didn't really do nothing but just write numbers down, whatever numbers she was writing. So I don't know where that's gonna lead into. But like I said before, where was his team going to begin with? So you're breaking up a team that never really did anything but lose all the time. Bobby Lashley was in the back, as, you know, he had some sheet of paper on Corbin's door saying that he has to go for some meeting, as, you know, Bobby Lashley kept saying, my man, Baron Corbin here, right? He wants me to go to this meditation thing with Jinder to find his inner peace because he's that angry. That's where we're going with this. And then, there's a carpet out there, and Lashley comes out and sits with him and finding his inner peace, and my man here, Jinder, and I don't know. I guess he told him to repeat that Shandi thing. It didn't, they do that breathing thing. And next, Kevin Owens shows up. I thought he quit last week. So after 1 week, I thought they were actually going to keep him off TV for a minute, but we literally brought him right back. So it's like they did nothing to build any of that. Nothing. And then Kevin Owens and Jinder start beating up Bobby Lashley, and Owens just power bombs him on the edge of the ring. So they did nothing. I'm just surprised he was back. And listen, the crowd was already dead for this whole segment, but this whole Kevin Owens quitting thing lasted 1 week, so I can forget that him being a Paul Heyman guy, or I don't know what they were going to build into doing this. You think Kevin Owens would be gone for a while after quitting, but he literally showed back up after 1 week. 1 week. So they did nothing to build any of that. It's almost like they scrapped the entire idea after 1 week. He quits and he walks away. So what is it now? Is it going to be Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens? Is this the feud we're going for? Is this the feud? I don't even know. What else did they announce for next week? I've already said Mick Foley's just the 20th anniversary of the whole Hell in a Cell thing, him falling off of it, so that, but I just sit there. He was just gone for 1 week and now he's back again. Main event. Since Corbin could not do the match, he sent Strowman to do it against Finn Balor. Strowman was just dominating throughout the entire match on Finn. Finn tried to come back, but he got power slammed. And then they start beating up Finn Balor, and we're going to do a triple power bomb, shield bomb on the steel steps. Next thing you know, a police siren kept going off. That siren could have kept going off. You would have thought Scott Steiner would have actually showed up. That would have been good to see. You just heard it multiple times. Next thing you know, Roman is driving the police van. He lets the Shield out the back. The Shield's music hit. They start coming to the ring. But then next thing you know, the entire roster is back out. All the heels then. And they start jumping him. They start jumping all of the Shield. Kevin Owens, Authors of Pain, Elias, Jinder, Mike Bennett, who still has a job. Drew Gulak, I'm actually surprised to see out there. Mojo Rawley, Ascension. I'm trying to see whatever heels that was still out there trying to jump the Shield. I'm really am trying to go back. Shit. I'm not happy with this. Okay then. Like I said, the Shield just, they're all getting jumped by all these guys, and, I'm just sitting there wondering, they're just all beating them up, and like I said, all the heels are jumping them. I said one thing, Seth Rollins took a nasty fall after they threw him into the police van, because the glass shattered and his arm is just bleeding all over the place then, and like I said, they beat up the Shield and throw them everywhere and power bomb them, and onto the steel steps, and Strowman's beating them up, and then they drag all the bodies and lay them on top of each other as all the heels just looked over the Shield saying they got them tonight. So it's pretty much the Shield versus the world right now, and Strowman and them get in the ring, and yes, Strowman was booed, so yes, he is a full-fledged heel now from this point, but they are doing anything, and this is all to get Roman over, so everybody knows that this is all their plan, their entire plan to get Roman over as much as possible. Where this is going, and to gain sympathy for the Shield. So what's it going to be next week? The Shield's going to get payback on all these guys and screw them out of their matches. I'm already surprised to see Kevin Owens was already back after 1 week, but Like I said, you got Authors of Pain, Drew Gulak, who's on 205 Live. I'm actually surprised he's out there. Mike Bennett, didn't know he still had a job. Elias, Ascension. I think that's everyone I named that was out there. Mojo. Yeah, I think that's all that he say. Strowman and all. Then that's all the heels I actually named out there. So the Shield's gonna get them, but this was the Shield versus the World tonight. That's where this is going. This was a very strange, odd Monday Night Raw. It was still bad in some ways. The worst thing I could probably say was that whole Bella Twins match and those suicide dives. The best thing you could take away from this show was the Undertaker and the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels promo. That's the best thing I could say you could name from this show. That's all I really can. Everything else was just odd. Okay, I didn't mind Ziggler and McIntyre become the tag team champions, but I do believe that the Revival just got screwed right here, just so they can do this, mostly so the Shield chase for the tag team titles now. That's where I believe they're going with that. It's just funny that nearly all the titles now revolve around this entire... Which, when you think about it now, all the titles on this show revolve around the Shield and, Strowman team rival. You got Seth is the Intercontinental, Roman is the Universal, Ziggler and McIntyre are the tag team champions. That's most of the titles right there on Raw. So, with all those titles on Raw, this is almost like a double or nothing type of thing. Who's going to win all the belts? Which team will get all the titles? There's 2 titles on each side of the team. Roman and Seth, Intercontinental and Universal. Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre. Ziggler and McIntyre the tag team champion. So it's like they got all the belts, and in this feud now, all the titles revolve around them. That's where this is going. Unless the Shield get all the belts, and now it's going to be double or nothing they're going to make the Shield so dominant. I read something, somebody pointed this out to me, that they did this top 10 faction thing on WWE.com, and they put the Shield in number 1. So the Shield are now, they put them in the number 1 faction of all time, a team. So they are better than DX, Evolution, the Hart Foundation, the 4 Horsemen, by God, the Nexus. Okay, maybe better than the Nexus, but I'm looking at all these legendary tag teams, and I'm sitting there wondering, what crack did they smoke before making that list on WWE.com? I really want to know. What did they smoke before putting that list up? So, like I said, this was a strange, just odd Monday Night Raw. Just bad and strange throughout this entire show, from makeshift tag teams and I don't know, like I said, the horrible suicide dive, getting the Shield over as much as possible, Kevin Owens coming back after 1 week. It's just, do they not keep up with what they write at this point? I really wanted that. Some people are going to say, oh, it's Labor Day, they took a day off, but this show was just all over the freaking place, and I don't know, Bliss and Rousey, I just don't know where that's trying to be taken as a threat, and where they're going with this Titus thing, and why Ember Moon's tagging up with Dana Brooke, and I don't know, man. And then again, like I said, I heard that Evolution thing's that's selling out tickets well enough right now, but like I said before in the beginning of the video, I had a way funner time last Saturday at All In, and that was the better wrestling show. I can say that about right now. All In was better than Raw tonight, but then again, anything looks like it's better than Raw tonight. And like I said, I'm glad I went to All In. So I am out of here. Please check out my All In review, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about this show, if you even liked Monday Night Raw tonight, because it was a lot of garbage going down on this show. But I am out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace. It's me, DHOOD, coming with the news and the reviews. Know I am, you know what I do. Came and I saw, and now we're done with this review of Monday Night Raw. So, in it for the win. Stay all in. So, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace.